Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Life on the Hulls, and I'm Ross. I'm building this 42-foot catamaran, 12.7 metres of sheer hard work, and anyone that knows me knows that I'm not averse to a bit of hard work, but it's getting ridiculous. The last 3 or 4 months has been the hardest part of this build. I thought I was on easy street, not so. It becomes harder, and the logistics and the unplanned events that are coming up in the next few months to you on YouTube will show what it takes to build and bring one of these things home. It's been possibly the hardest 3 or 4 months I've done so far. But don't forget to like and subscribe, share it out to your friends, and please don't forget to make a comment, and let's get into it. Well, it's a bit of a lonely day today. Sammy left, so I had to drag Janet up to keep me occupied, and I've got her in here cleaning, as you can hear. She's cleaning out our engine room compartment. So while Janet's cleaning up there, I'm going to head into the bathroom, our forward ensuite head. Now I've decided to fair and raptor this roof rather than put the liner in. I'm actually liking the idea of having no liners, and that way I can see any deficiencies in the ceilings, I can see any deficiencies in the joins and the seams and everything, but I've got to get in here and sand this out right now, and it's going to be noisy and it's going to be dusty as hell, so bit of a yuck job, but it's got to be done. Okay. In the forward head, and what I've been doing is laminating a module to the roof. After I faired this yesterday, I discovered that I could pretty easily laminate this to the actual roof here, so I've put in 3 layers of just some double bias all the way through here to tie it from there to the roof, so it's now all joined, and that means I'll be able to fill it and fair it and make it look like it actually is part of the roof structure. Now we are actually going to raptor this whole roof. I may even roll it, it just depends on how I go. I've basically joined it all. I have to do a bit of work over here where the port light is. I've actually got to cut the module out, fill it with foam first, cut the module out, and then shape it and then re-glass it back down. That's going to be quite a bit of work. I've got to do it on the other side as well, because the module sits out from the actual hull side. Obviously there's a gap there. I'm going to run a bead of foam along the top here. We might just have a nice wood edge or a fiberglass edge on the top here, just to integrate the roof to the module. There is actually a roof liner for this, but I've chosen not to use it. It's just extra weight, and as you can see, my head height in here when I'm standing here cleaning my teeth and the like is just good enough for me, and I'm 6'2.5", almost 6'3". Obviously having a shower in here, I'd have to duck a little bit, but that's pretty normal in these types of head. On the other shower I can pretty much stand full head height. But yeah, that's all glassed in now, that's all gone off, and in fact I might just rip that peel ply off and get started on cleaning that up. Not quite gone off. What I did over here, there was such a gap between the module and the roof. I actually hot glued some ABS plastic to fill the gap on the back side of the module where I could, and that actually allowed me to get a good solid surface to get a a glass face. But I'm going to leave that overnight and come back tomorrow, and I can get into it tomorrow and tidy this up. Sorry about the lighting, guys. It's super dark in here, but I've been able to infill this section here with block foam. I've glued it all in about 2 centimeters in, so it's actually providing me with an edge to be able to then bevel this back in. I'll then sand back to here, glass over, re-gel coat it all so that this window looks like it's physically inset into the wall, whereas it was actually a gap of around about 1 inch at one stage. So that'll fit right in like that, and this will be nicely beveled in, all glassed and flow coated just like the rest of the module. So I just have one of these Ryobi electric file sanders. I've got every sander you can possibly imagine known to man, but this file sander has been just superb for getting into the little spots. That drum sander I had 2 or 3 of those over the years. It killed just about every one of them, and at least this thing is almost overtaken that as my most favourite tool, because it does allow me to physically shape something quite accurately without, you know, too much effort. Because it's battery powered, I don't have to worry about carrying a cord around with me. Yeah, that's just been a winner. The only thing is with these things, you must blow the dust out of them. I've killed one already, and I think it was dust that basically killed it. I mean, it should be able to withstand the dust. The switches and all the circuitry in the thing should be basically dust proof, but they're not. It's a bits and pieces day. I'm going to go down and see what the boss is doing here. Alright, what's going on here? We're laminating the base for the support for the hard top. Now this has been a bit of a nightmare for Janet, hasn't it? A bit of a nemesis. Janet put on 5 layers the other day and it just collapsed. And I suggested you might want to do 2 and then come back and do 2 and then do 2. But we're up to 3, so will we risk another one?
I don't know.
I reckon that's 3 more, so that's now 5 layers of 600. I reckon another one.
It's just that it's starting to pull away from there.
Yeah, I reckon put your big one on. I reckon.
I haven't got a big one.
Well, I'm going to go and cut you one, because I reckon put one over the whole thing and tie it into the roof there.
The way I prefer to do it is that way and that way. So
2 smaller ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's probably a good idea. Janet's happy Jen today, aren't you? Because you've done it. Actually, that's looking really good. That's a beautiful finish now. We might get some surfboard cloth over that.
No, we're not.
Janet hates that fine cloth. Don't you,
don't? Absolutely hate it. Stuffs up everything. I'm not using it.
You're not using it?
No.
Telling me what to do now.
Well, you put a roof over it, so what does it matter? I'm not putting surfboard cloth on it.
Okay. Just giving Janet the enviable task of laminating the stanchion base up under the engine room. Get in your hole. Go on, I'll pass it all through to you. Once you're in there, there's no coming back until the job's done.
I don't need
I'll pass it all to you neatly.
Yeah, no, I'm just working out. I don't need. Stop tying up.
Oh,
You know what
real.
it's been doing for the last 20 minutes? Just get your stuff together and then I'll pass it through. Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet?
Okay, watch you don't rip my bloody fuel lines off the
I am trying not to. Okay. I'm trying to do things slowly.
Get in. Just
you
go
just
in.
need to stop.
Get that yoga pose. Almost need a time lapse.
Alright?
No time lapse slow enough to film this part.
You get that bit?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in the hole and there's the window and there's the stanchion base that I'm going to have to put some extra layers on, and it's actually not too bad because once you're in, I got myself organised. I can actually stand up to do it, so I'm actually stood up now, so it's all doable here. Now that Ross has put some light, I can see what I'm doing. There's the port window. There's my feet, and there's all my gear, and there's Ross.
The camera. Use the camera. Right, I'm taking the camera. Alright, see ya. Have fun. Absolutely every job is a mission, and the mission I have today is to get down into the sugar scoop on the port side and laminate under that ladder recess. I did, and I've got all my gear here. I'll just run you through all the stuff I have to get organised before I can even go down into this hole and get this job done. If I did the starboard side back in January when Jeff was here, I basically laminated underneath the stair recess and completed all of the cleats around it that's holding all the stairs together on that starboard side, and I need to do the port side. Normally I like to have someone around while I do this because I'm down in the bowels of the sugar scoop, but at the end of the day I have to get it done today because I need to move forward with the rudder gland installations. Those bearings have to be installed, and once I put them in place there's no getting into the back there without any major contortion. So, and I'm not a contortionist.
A lot of overhead upside down tabbing going on here, and it's 5 months since I did the other side, and now I know why, because it is absolutely brutal. But yeah, what I got to do every time I need to change cloth, get a pair of scissors, I've got to come out of the hole. There's no way to get organised enough to do a job like this, so you just got to get in and do it.
Oh, I've been in here for an hour and a half with my head tilted back with my mask on, and I'm drowning in my own bloody sinuses because what I'm doing is I'm actually laminating up under there all of this ladder box. It stinks to high hell in there at the moment, but basically I've done the entire stern section of the boat all the way from here all the way around. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I still have to do the ladder box, so I'll do that in a moment. Still got to do this one cleat along here, and that'll complete that. That's 2 big layers of tabbing and then some peel ply, and then I'll do another 2 layers around this ladder box to reinforce it all. It's not going anywhere, it's already glass from the top as well, so there's plenty of laminates in here holding it all together. Once this section's finished, I can start to put in the rudder bearings, the bulkhead that I'm going to position it on, and also think about the steering piston as well, the hydraulic piston that's going to hold it in place. But for now I'm going to get my mask back on because it's really pungent in here. It is pretty damn uncomfortable, I've got to say. I'm laying in here on a bloody yoga mat and upside down with my head leaning backwards in a place that, you know, I can barely fit in. So it's probably a bit deceiving, the size of the cavity I'm in, but it is quite low. I don't really have a lot of wiggle room in here. Here we go. Sad day, but that's life. I had a couple of comments last week about the sheer space and logistics that it would take to build a catamaran of this size. To think that up until this point, Janet and I have been effectively storing a hull and deck mould separately, the entire internal module set, plus the actual catamaran itself, in total constitutes the size of 4 full-size catamarans. Although I've been really fortunate to have been able to manage this storage effectively now for over 5 years, the reality is that I've paid in excess of 20,000 Australian dollars, which is 12,000 US dollars, in storing a mould that sadly will not be used again. Hence this week's final decision to get started on the whole mould. It has eyed me off and given me an evil eye every day on the way home from work since I demoulded the hull itself, and the day had come for me to make a start on it. I thought a couple of days would be more than sufficient to cut her up and dispose of it. Was I wrong? Today was the start of a near 8-day exercise to totally rid ourselves of the burden, and after the initial 2 days I was totally smashed. I couldn't continue, leaving the remainder for another day. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the hard work that went into this period of time was something that just had to be reckoned with. This is potentially the most bone-shattering and exhausting work I think I've had to do so far, and seriously, this job was one of the worst and most soul-destroying things I think I've ever done. The grinding was bone-shattering, and ultimately I went on to power saws, recipro saws, and the like, and eventually I killed a couple of saws in the process. Now, as you watch me tear the bow off our hull mould, you're probably going to be thinking, why in God's name didn't he just get an excavator or a giant bulldozer to destroy the mould itself? And I did actually have that as an original plan, but my friend Greg, who actually stored the hull mould for me, although we were paying him rent for storage, owned a big backhoe, and we originally thought that would have been the best way, but he sold it about 2 months prior, and the only other excavator was just going to be cost prohibitive. And in the ilk of me doing everything on my own, I decided I can get rid of this thing quite simply. Well, that just wasn't the case. It was just an absolute shocker of a job. Dangerous, dusty, hot work, just didn't get any easier, and although I might sound like I'm bleeding, I am. Methodically cutting it up into the flattest pieces I could was the technique. The rest, I'm going to leave for you to imagine what a frigging tough gig it really was. In a few weeks, I'm going to bring the balance of the whole mould destruction into the videos, and I'm going to show you how we ultimately disposed of it and breathe a massive personal and financial sigh of relief. Welcome to our life on the hulls. Thanks for joining us, guys.